Hello and welcome to our live crafting video today. My name's Jenny McCormack and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and I'm based in the market town of Brackley, which is in Northamptonshire in the UK. It is the 13th of July, so welcome if you're watching live. If you're watching on replay or catch up, whether that is on Facebook or on YouTube, then welcome to you too. Obviously you can be watching this at any time of day or night, depending on where you are and whether you're watching live or replay. If you have any queries or questions, don't hesitate to pop those in the comment section. I do monitor those on a regular basis, and we'll get back to you if there's anything you require answering. Hi Linda, how lovely to have you join us. Good morning to you. So this week we've been featuring the True Organic Beauty Dies, which is part of the bundle that goes with the, I'll just get this out, True Beauty stamp set. Now, last week we featured really the stamp set in its own right, and this week I've been featuring the dies, and in particular this sort of lattice trellis die. And let me show you some of the cards that we've made already, because some of them have nothing to do with flowers, even though the stamp set in the main obviously is a floral stamp set. Hi Kerry, good evening to you. So these first two here were cards that I actually created last week. This one was created using the papers and the dies to cut out the design, and I've entered the lattice piece onto a piece of card. So I cut the lattice out in white, added it onto this blushing bride piece of card, and then added those layers on top and the butterflies. And then here I've used one of the free celebration cards that you can get free with an order of £45 or more. And this is a set of 20 cards and envelopes in two different designs. I just thought it was a really nice offset for this particular card, and this has been stamped and die cut. And I added just a little piece of this trellis here underneath. So you can review those videos from last week. Hi Katherine. Oh bless you, that's fine. Just go if you need to go, don't worry. Okay, and then Monday of this week I created this one using the a black die cut trellis onto a black piece of card. I then took the trellis and cut it out with those three new in colours, so Parakeet Party, Tahitian Tide and Orchid Oasis, and then I lined those up in strips of colour like that. Oops, sorry. And because they're on a black card, it gives quite a nice effect. Hi Paula, hi Jane, hi Wendy. So that was created Monday. And then yesterday I created this one. So this is an ombre effect. We have 9 sets of blue colours in the Stampin' Up range. So I started with the lightest and worked my way through. Now I appreciate on the lighting you probably can't see the difference between the top view. It's quite subtle, and obviously it's more bold as it goes down. And hi Wendy, thanks for joining us. And so this is an ombre effect, and then I added the die cut sanding and the stamped and die cut card to send hello. This would make a great man's card, as with this one, in any combination of colours, so whatever colours you have. So you can see the videos for these on Facebook. On YouTube, because this one took a little bit longer, because I cut each section separately, I have added it to YouTube and sped it up in the middle. So you see the start of this, and then all of this bit here, apart from the edges, is sped up. When I started, excuse me, I wasn't sure if I was going to do the edges, but I quite like that finished effect for that particular card. So those are some masculine ones. So I thought today I would do a feminine design. I'm not going to fill the whole thing in again. I'm going to use it slightly differently. Let's just leave those up there. Okay, so what I have is I have a white face card. But I'm just going to, I have already scored. So this is a standard A6 card. So a piece of A4 card, that's how we sell our main card. Cut into half and then folded in half again. So that's an A6 card. And I'm going to be working on a piece of basic white card. And I have a layer of Blushing Bride colour card behind. Thank you, Kerry. I was really pleased with it. In the video, I didn't finish off the sentiment because I thought I'd taken enough of everybody's time. So I had a little play and ended up just adding that, sending in the white as a really nice contrast, hopefully. So this is going to be my finished set of card layers. I'm not sure at the moment whether I'm going to do it vertically or horizontally. I think I might do it horizontally. And what I've done is I've taken the Awash with Beauty papers and I popped some of these through that same die. And what I'm going to do is use one of the dies as a template and just add in a few of these dotted around. That's the plan. So I think what I might have to do is stamp my sentiment first and then add these in, and I'm thinking probably this way. I'm going to do a group of 4 at a time. I may have them going off the bottom. I think that'd be quite nice. So I'm going to pop a sentiment on. So I've taken the Awash with Beauty papers, which are really pretty in their own right, and I've got this one here with the little pink and white flowers. I've got this one here which is Blushing Bride, and I've got some Granny Apple Green, and then they do have patterns on the reverse. So this has got some of the cut up flowers, as has this with a white background, and then the green has got some more with a white background. So I'm going to do a mix of those. I really want to focus on the pinks, but with a little bit of green and maybe a little bit of foliage. So this is just going to be text and the little diamonds. So let me see what sentiment I might add. I don't want anything too big. I think actually a thank you would work well, of course. Let me just grab that. From my go-to greeting. So this is literally a go-to greeting set. Goes everywhere with me for coffee and card. So you've got 4 greetings in 3 different styles, 3 different sizes. So I'm going to use this thank you here. If I can see it on the back. There we go. So I don't want it too big, but equally I don't want it completely lost. Now, if you didn't see my post or my discussion yesterday evening, we do have a clearance rack update this morning. And that consists of products that came in too late to the warehouse. I'm just trying to think what colour I'm going to do this in. Early espresso, I think. Yes, products came in too late to the warehouse, and so these are from the annual catalogue 2021 to 2022, so effectively the one that's just retired, and so they're in there at a discount and they're only available while stocks last. That's perfect. And one that I do recommend, if you haven't got an alphabet die set, assuming it's still available, it was early this morning, Playful Alphabet is available again, with a really nice size, about 1 inch size letters and numbers and symbols. So if you're after a bargain, grab one of those. If you live local to me, just let you know what you'd like to order, and I'll be popping an order in later. Hi Glenda, good evening to you. I hope you're well. So I'm going to deliberate where I'm going to put this. I think I'm going here. Okay, so I've just got my thank you on there, and then all I'm going to do is just use this as a template for putting my diamonds in so that they are equally spaced. Simple as that. Nothing more than that, nothing cleverer than that. It's a slight experiment, so we shall see. As always, just looking for a little bit of masking tape I can pop on. So this is my base card, my layered card. So I'm just going to put a little bit here. It feels very sticky. I think it's got extra sticky in the heat. And here, so that the clearance rack for those products retired but have come back briefly is only for UK and Europe. So apologies if you're anywhere else. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is pop one there. So I'm just going to add a little bit of tape. And I'm probably only going to put 3 or 4 of these sets in, if that. So, and I'm just taping this to my desk there. Oops. It's very, very sticky. Okay, so I'm just going to use these 3 here. Let's cover my ink pad out so I don't put my elbow in it though. And exactly as before, I don't put the glue onto these pieces. I'm putting the glue onto the card into each of those little segments I'm going to use. A small amount of glue, and I appreciate you can't see much of this, but you'll see it when the pieces go down. So let's pop one here. So you could recreate this with just plain card if you wanted to. And we'll go this one here. I'm hoping, yeah, that will lift up nicely. And let's put three. And I think I'm going to have this one here. Like so. Like that. And then what I'm going to do is lift this up. And I've got my 4 in place, like so. And then I'm just going to repeat that. There's a little bit of glue on there which I'll take off when it's dry. Yes, just checking it's glue and not ink. Okay, so let's add another one, maybe up here. And maybe I'll take this one off the top. Let's move those cards out of the way. Just to keep it looking, oh, there's a piece on there, looking natural by going off the top as if you'd stamped it, basically. And I'm going to change around the pattern as well, so I haven't got the same pattern each time. Stuck to my arm. Okay, so glue one here and that top one. So what I'm going to do is I will attach them and then trim the edges off afterwards. So we'll see if this works as a design. So I just think it's a really versatile set of dies, and this was what I actually used for our Let's Get Creative event recently. Let's put this one here. And then I've got this one. So on the back of this pink Blushing Bride, we've got this deeper little bit of colour. Now I'm just turning this over, but you could, if you wanted to, cut out a few on one side, turn your paper over and cut them at the other side. Okay. Go like so. Now I did wonder whether to stamp on this as well, but I think I'm just going to keep it to these panels. So let's do this here. Put one there. In there, I think. Although I don't want it too similar to that one. I want them to look quite natural. Okay, hopefully that will do the job. Let's add this one up here. That one there still, isn't it? Maybe here. Space out a little bit. Okay. So I know that this one won't stick on the top there because I've only added glue to the card, not the back of the pieces. Let's add. I'll take off a little bit of that glue. Got a little bit carried away. Okay, tuck this one in here. So if you've got other dies that cut out that sort of pattern, not necessarily a lattice, but you know, it could be circular ones, whatever. I think it would be. Right, let's go. One and there. Okay, so just lifting that carefully off, and I'm just holding that down with a little bit of masking tape, and I'll reuse this for something else, so that's not going to be wasted. So let's see what that's looking like. There we go. So it could be that I will add some stamped images in. I could have used a larger stamp as well. It's difficult to know how it's going to work out. So let's add another one in here, sort of in between these two, like so. There we go. So I'll try and be as quick as I can, having got to this point. So I've got a Blushing Bride layer to go behind it. got my fingers attached to everything. So this is a really pretty bit of pattern. The papers are very nice. If you like florals, the papers are lovely. If you're not mad keen on florals, I know a few people here that aren't, then you can use the reverse sides. Is that one? The green, and then one of those, like that. So Kerry says, what about a set off to the left hand side and maybe a bit in the top right corner? Absolutely. Oops. Yes, that's the only problem with the delay, isn't there? But that's fine, thank you. Great minds think alike, that's all I'm saying, Kerry. There's a set there, and then you're right, a little bit up there. And I you know, can go on and carry on extra bits and pieces as well, but let's put a set here. To move my pen out of the way though. So it's going to go in there, those top ones there. Go. Use that scrap of paper. There we go. Okay, my fingers are getting a bit sticky now. So let's use the piercing tool to pick those up. Like so. And let's have a bit of green. Now you can, obviously, if you've got odd pieces cut out for the edges, you can use those. I discarded those because, you know, I wasn't sure which pieces I would need, but you could make full use of any corner pieces that way. There we go. Okay, so you can see the general effect of that. Now almost what I feel like I want to do is put some little flowers in there. Let's trim the edges off and have a look. So I'm just putting the scissors on the edge of the card as a guide. You could also use your trimmer to do this. Thank you, Glenda. Like so I have to say I didn't think very hard about my placement. Like so. Pretty. Right, let's see what it looks like on here, and then I'll decide if I add some other detail, because obviously it looks a little bit plain. I think it works quite nicely, but it does look a little bit plain, like so. So the question is, I could add the tip of one here and here, or I could stamp this little flower. I think those leaves are a little bit too big, although I have got a single leaf. Let me see, what have I got in this set. No, they're a little bit at an angle. Okay. So in framed occasions, it's like a bit too big. Could just try this one in Blushing Bride. We'll see what we think. Some dots, yes. Bless you, Wendy. Yes, dots might be better, mightn't they? I've got this little one here. I don't want it to take away from that element of it, so I could definitely add some dots. The question is, do I add any more to fill that out? Answers on a postcard, because obviously I haven't got enough space here. I didn't do my rule of 3 on this side. I've got them here sort of fairly closely matched. Let's see. Let's have a look. Let's grab the dots and see. So these dots are from Forever Fern, and I can stamp those in Blushing Bride. I only want it quite subtle. I don't want it to overtake. Yeah, it's definitely missing something. Okay, let's have a look. So I've got some dots here. Just going to stamp out this colour. Yeah, I think Catherine's idea is a good one. Right, I've got a little bit of glue here, so I want to remove that before I stamp. So let me get my first aid kit out. In here I have an adhesive remover. Now you can just use a very good quality rubber if you have one, or an eraser. There's a little bit of glue on there as well. Okay, it doesn't look like glue, it looks like a mark. So we're going to cover that up with our dots. Nobody will know. Well, anybody who watches the video will know. Okay, so I'm just going to dot these in place, rotating it round so that it's not the same shape all the way, and making sure I go off the edge as well. There we go. That definitely works. I'll lift that up, hopefully you can see that. So thank you for that, Catherine. So I could have got away with a bigger sentiment. It's one of those things. The other thing I could do is stamp a sentiment onto another piece and put that on top, because it is slightly to one side, which is fine, but these are quite close to it, so I could have a slightly bigger die cut. Let me just try it and see. But the main thing is you've got the you can see the idea, just using that it's too big, as a template for popping those pieces in. That needs to be long and thin to cover that up. Let's see if I've got anything. No. Die cut butterfly. Oh yes, from the Brilliant Wing. Oh, that would look nice too. Yep, that's a good idea. Seem to have got every shape except the one I'm after. So that would, I know it's a little bit too big, but that would sort of work. Or that potentially would work. Okay, right, let me just try this idea and see, and then I'll make a decision. So we have our duet punch, so I could put a pink behind it, cut from that piece, if I can find the punch. There it is. So we've got these two here. Let me just try it and see. So I'm going to put that right the way in. Just to see whether I could. I'm not sure it's big enough actually. It might do. With the smaller piece on there. It shunts it over very slightly, doesn't it? Okay, let's do that. So I just want a scrap of white. Just trying every option here. That's too big. No, I quite like that in its place. Let's grab a small piece of white. I'm hoping the thank you will fit on the smaller die cut. Just try it on there and see. Ooh. Just I'll give it a go, and I could add some a little bit of pink bling as well. Oop. Glue on my finger, sticking to everything. Okay. Best laid plans. Okay, right. Straighten that up on there. There we go. Recovered. So what it's allowed me to do is shift that thank you over just a little bit. So let's put this together. So I've got my basic white card. I'm going to add this layer next. Sorry, that is shining. So sorry, I know that's probably off the screen for you. So lining this up in the center, and I know roughly what my margin looks like, so but using wet glue allows me to move it if I need to. Okay, that's going to go onto there. And I could use some of the little brass butterflies or a little bit of bling. just 2 dots in there. Like that. And so I'm going to put this flat onto this layer and then layer that up with dimensionals, just for a little bit of interest. A couple of times I thought I'd misstamped this thank you, but it's designed like that. When I looked at that top bit, I thought I'd missed it, but I checked on the stamp and it is designed like that. Okay. Grab some dimensionals and pop it up on there. Just put 3 on just to support that in the middle. And there we go. I am going to pop some of those diamonds on the inside as well. Get the glasses off. So I want this as far over as I can get away with it. There we go. That's that. And then let's pop 3 on the inside. So I'm really pleased with that. It's funny how sometimes you think, oh, I'm not sure how this is going to go, and I've ended up with 5 on there, which is a bit of a miracle, because that I wanted an odd number, but I hadn't got as far as working that one out. Okay, and I think just this in the corner. To finish it off. So again, putting the glue onto there rather than onto the little pieces which are likely to disappear. And I've knocked most of them onto the floor. Typical. So let's pop these in. One bit of colour. Two. Green one. And one. Really wanted one of those little pinky ones, but I can't see those, so this will have to do. And then just holding those down as I remove it. Like so. So that's the inside of my card, just with that detail in it. There's the outside, and I'm just going to add 3 little bits of bling and we're done. So I'm thinking opal rounds, but I know what I'm looking for. Sorry, I can guarantee it's always in the other pack, the last place you look. No, it's not even there either. Okay, there we go, that's what I'm after. Because that's just got a little hint of pink. If you can, I don't know if you can see that pink on there or not, so. And just the small ones I'm going to use, and just dot one, two, three. There we go. Card finished. I'm pleased with how it turned out. As I've got a few spare little diamonds, I will pop those onto the envelope as well. Hi Nikki, just rounding up of course. I always hate announcing that when people have just joined, so I do apologise. So this is using the lattice or trellis die from the Organic Beauty dies that goes with True Beauty, not Pure Beauty, True Beauty. And I've just cut out some designer series paper. This happens to be the coordinating paper from the bundle, and it's called Awash in Beauty, and just picked out a little bit of those for some detail. So thanks to Katherine for the idea for the dots, because it's looking a little bit too plain. I could have used a coloured card base, put it onto a coloured card base, but I wanted to pick out this Blushing Bride. So there we go, a feminine version using the lattice, and very different to our one from yesterday, which was the ombre version. Let me bring that down there, but using exactly the same dies. So thank you so much for joining me. This will be uploaded to YouTube, so if you want to watch it slightly faster, at 1.5 times the speed or 1.2 times the speed, then please feel free. Just look for Jenny McCormack on YouTube, and I look forward to crafting with you again tomorrow. So I will be here tomorrow at 7 PM UK time. Thank you, Wendy. Great for scraps. Yeah, that's a good idea. Hadn't thought of that, Wendy. So I'll be here tomorrow 7 PM UK time, and that will wrap up our use of these dies. So I've got another idea for tomorrow, so that's 2 weeks worth, and still more ideas to go, so I'm really pleased about that. I love it when you have a set that you just can't stop creating with. So thank you so much for joining me. There'll be a photograph of this up shortly that'll help you see what we did in a bit more detail, because I know you can't always see it on the video. So thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon or evening, depending on where you are and when you're watching. Thanks for your support. Do keep on crafting, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye for now.